Hello and welcome to Marriage Matters. My name is Tony.
And I'm Kimberly.
And we want to bring, what do we want to do? Why are we doing this particular podcast? What's our point?
Our hope is to bring value to someone, anyone out there watching.
Yeah, transparency and value. We have been married for how many years?
I would say, transparency and vulnerability. We have been married glorious 23 years.
Vulnerability. I don't know about that. Do we want to be vulnerable? We'll be transparent, but that vulnerable part.
Okay, well, guys don't like vulnerability. Women, that word speaks to us.
Okay, well, how about this? We'll be real when we really want to be real and we really want to bring value. And we have paid the dumb tax on quite a few things. Would you say that's true?
I would say welcome to our living room. And yes, we have the dumb tax more than once, not on the same thing. Yeah, but never repeating the dumb tax, just in a different area.
So we want to help you. So we decided to come together and bring insight and experience and truth from the Word of God and how it has affected our lives, and we believe that it can positively affect your life. So we want to kick off this series, and we want to talk about the topic of trust.
Ooh, that's a good one.
She didn't know. I surprised her.
I was like, ooh, trust. That's a good one.
Now, anytime we're talking, we want to talk out of the overflow of our experiences. We want to talk out of the overflow of our relationship with God and our relationship with each other. It's very important. So we're going to just really try to have spontaneous, real conversation that's relevant. Again, that's why we're here. So when we talk about trust, and we're talking about the idea of trust, what for you is the hardest part to trusting me as a husband, as a father, and as a man? What's the hardest part?
So the hardest part has been that you are looking out for my good, not only my good, but the good of others, that you won't shipwreck our family.
Okay, so the motivation. So I tell people very often when it comes to a wife, and I'd love for you to elaborate this, I tell husbands that wives need to know two incredibly important things. That they need to know that they are loved and that they are safe. And you know I've asked you that a million times. I've said, do you feel loved and do you feel safe? So I share that all the time. Is that true? And talk a little bit about that from your perspective.
Okay, so early on in our marriage, I would say that no, I didn't really trust you. I didn't really feel safe or anything because, well, I'm a woman and I can make a laundry list of things or areas, fast forward 23 years later, about what you didn't do or what I didn't think you did right or whatever, and that would maybe inhibit trust. But I would say that now, as your decision, from my perspective, as your decision making has been one that has been for our good, the motivation has been for our good, the trust has been a lot easier to come by.
So once you understood the love or the motivation, or accepted or rejected the reality that what I'm trying to do and the decisions that I have to make, I'm making out of love, which is consideration. And anytime on this program that we talk about love, we're talking about it in a functional capacity. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is gentle. Love does not insist on its own way. That comes out of 1 Corinthians chapter 13 in the Bible. If you're basing love off of something else, you're basing it off of something that is subjective, not something that's objective. The problem with that is you can't measure it in your relationship. And so I hear what you're saying is that as I have expressed functionally, not just theoretically expressed love to you, it's given you the ability to trust.
Right. Well, and not only that, I would also say that for me it's my own personal responsibility to understand that when I said I do to this man, I was saying really I trust the decisions, and I can't always be in my head and think about how your decisions are, trying to figure out ways that your decisions aren't going to be good. So I have to have a conscious effort to like you said, love is kind, love is patient, but love doesn't seek its own way. I have to, get out of my head and think that he's really not only thinking about me, but he's seeing something beyond what I may be seeing, and that's going to be for my good. So
I hear what you're saying is that true trust has a huge faith component.
Absolutely, it has a huge faith component. And
so trusting me means twofold for a woman. I believe you would say that trusting me involves trusting me, but also trusting God in me and God's
Exactly.
ability to direct me.
Yes. And then
That should be easy, right?
it's not always easy.
So, but you're saying that I can make it easier or I can make it more difficult, but still, for you not to trust me, would you say that ultimately that's because of a lack of trust in God's ability to really direct me?
Okay, well, I would say that now, but early on in our marriage, I wouldn't say that that would be the case. In other words, when we were newly married, you didn't have a track record that I could point to about the good decisions that you made.
Right.
But now, fast forward 23 years later, the decisions that you have made have been good ones, and that has given us a firm foundation in the area, or that not us, but me, a firm foundation in the area of trust.
Okay, so let's be very real, very transparent for just a moment. What would you say to that wife who is really struggling to trust her husband for several reasons? One, because maybe he doesn't have the best track record. What would you say to that woman who is struggling to trust because her husband hasn't really established a trust? Let's say he doesn't necessarily have a bad one, but he don't have 23 years of experience and proven whatever. Well, what would you say to that woman who is struggling to trust her husband?
First and foremost, this is a marriage, and marriage is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So I would ask that you be patient, that you can be patient. And this might sound kind of strange, but I would ask something that I didn't do early on in our marriage that I wish I had done is I would write this stuff down in a journal or wherever, and I would just be like, these are the areas that I'm struggling trusting my husband in, but I'm willing to not give up. So don't give up. And as you do that, you will be able to see how the decisions that he has made, right decisions that he has made, and you will be encouraged when those thoughts of untrustworthiness come. You will be able to redirect those thoughts.
From a guy's perspective, I will just tell you, and you know, I'm sure you've considered this, and maybe you're a lady who's watching. You trusting me means a lot to me. If out of the gate I sense that you really don't trust me in the first place, something happens. Number one, it doesn't just irritate me. Okay, it doesn't just invalidate me sometimes, but it makes me question myself. And I know that sometimes you probably, that's not your intention, but you trusting me is almost like a synergy that occurs. If you trust me, that I'm going, okay, you know what? She's got faith. She's got trust in me. I can have more in my decision.
Oh, but not only that, I remember this one time, and it didn't really dawn on me because I was like, yeah, I married you. I said I do to you.
I must have trusted you.
I know. I must have trusted you. I must have put,
right.
Because obviously for me, I don't know how it is for you ladies, but when I said I do, I said I do. For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, till death do us part. Divorce, not an option. Okay? But I remember this time, and I'm an only child, right? So my dad, he was around. So you would give me these ideas or these thoughts or whatever, these decisions that you were going to make, and I wasn't quite sure I trusted you. So I would, call my dad, and I'd be like, hey, Dad. And I would do it in front of you. I don't even know if you remember, but I would do it in front of you, and I'd be like, hey, Dad, what do you think about this? And I would, and he would, it was so funny because he would confirm things that you had said. So I would think that would be like so encouraging to you. Like, look, Instead, it was the opposite. You became like, not angry, but irritated. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, hey, like, he has someone in his corner, so hello, I trust you, everything is good.
I do now because you confirmed it with Daddy. And there is...
I didn't realize I was speaking something totally opposite.
Well, guys want to know, and I'm just going to be very transparent, guys want to know that we're leading well. Yeah, and I heard a preacher say this. He said, "I would rather eat hot dogs that I made than filet mignon that somebody else made and served me." There's that aspect of, I would rather us make mistakes and hit bumps along the road and it be our family than having to lean on something else. I'm not saying don't seek counsel or don't seek wisdom, but ladies, let me tell you, when your husband tells you something and you pick up the phone and call your daddy
right in front of them,
he's probably not going to be super excited, especially if your dad's, what if your dad would have said something different?
I know, yes.
That would have been disastrous,
And you
but
know what
I
I
was
think?
right, so it was obvious to confirm.
Well, and if we're being transparent, I really think that there was some times that my dad counseled and it was probably contrary to what you said. And so as a result, I think we butted heads a lot more than we needed to.
Yeah.
So ladies, young ladies, older ladies, if you're watching this, really consider not reaching out. If you have a father figure in your life, really consider maybe that father figure being the Word of God first.
Yeah, and honor, a lot of things, because men are so honor driven, and we'll talk about, that in a later
that's
episode.
yeah.
But we are honor driven, and we want to know, we really want what we say not to just be something that is totalitarianly obeyed. We want it to be something that is valued and something that you see as worth. That was my heart. I want to bring, as a husband, I want to bring value to the table. And, in our marriage is kind of that little world, that little Minecraft world, if you will, that we get to build, and we get to build it with our values, and we get to build it with our experiences and our perspectives. Trust is a vital part of that.
So he says Minecraft. I say it's a petri dish.
Yes. Yeah.
Scientifically, my mind is scientifically inclined. Petri dish of.
Yeah, it can be tough. So when I heard somebody say it this way, the way that you learn to trust is by trusting. And sometimes that's by faith.
Absolutely. I was just about to say that. It is an act of faith. Trusting is an act of faith every day. It's an act of faith. That's right.
Cool. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll look forward to speaking to you. If this brings value to you, please like it. Please share it. And if there's a comment or a topic or something you'd like us to discuss and talk about candidly, please leave it in the comment section. God bless
Yes.
you. Hope to see you soon.
We are willing. Thanks for watching.